because once I blow up, I'm going to charge you dramatically more. He's like, yeah, the internet thing's getting crazy. Like, this guy was crazy wrong. He says to me, you know, I've been advertising on Google, which was an amazing moment. I was like, you don't say. He's like, that? Sorry, do you remember this statement? Remember when he said, yeah, that thing gets like hundreds of thousands of views a day. Like, maybe like hundreds of millions, but okay, cool. This is an amazing statement. Anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm very interested, just show me the blog when it's up. So, you know, I think that's a really fascinating point. What was your question? But, you know, the cold calling. I think it's super relevant. And I think it comes back to the thesis that we talked about back there. Just don't be a 19-year-old dude, right? And it's just like, everybody knows this is business. There's no, you know, this is America. We're entrepreneurial. It's good. Let's do this. We're fine with that. Just don't be a dick. You know what I mean? And I think manners are important. And I think your social equity is very important. You can't just move to Denver after you screwed it up in Cincinnati like you did in 1974. It's a very important point. You know? Everything you do is building your legacy. And I think about that on every deal and every business transaction I make. But I would cold call all day long. But I think there's a better way to do it, because getting into the conversation, I think Twitter is massively misunderstood. And by the way, they may lose, but the concept of it will win. Friends are lost, but the concept won. Any other questions?
Well, maybe you'll hang around and ask if there's a few more offline questions. Or...
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of people that didn't want to ask in public.
Yeah.
Be ready. Guys, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate everybody coming out tonight again. Thanks to Jones Lang and Holtzman for sponsoring, and thanks for all of you for attending. And just have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks, Gary.
You could just scale it.
I don't know if
such big numbers. So you have to figure out that it costs you the value of on this site, so I suck, so here I am, here's my email, and this, that, and the other. I mean, it becomes very transparent. It's funny, I was on ESPN talking about how Revis and the Jets should handle it in social media. Revis should have made a video and just said, listen, this is the NFL. If I get hurt tomorrow, I don't get to play ever again, I don't get paid. This isn't baseball. A-Rod gets the contract, it's guaranteed, he gets hurt the next day. And I thought he could have won a lot of, you know, fanfare, right? On the flip side, the Jets could have won the other way and said, well, half. So I think we're the same way, which is that the company just happens to happen to me. One of my sons got hacked by a porn site. And it got written up in the Wall Street Journal and TechCrunch, and I just made a video, linked it everywhere. I was like, listen, it sucked, too many balls in the air, my fault. And I became like a hero. Like Wall Street Journal wrote another article about how I knew how to handle customer service, like damaging business stuff. So I think it's just addressing it head on, using the technology.
And as the leads are developed, would you use it
Do
as
a Google search on Domino's Pizza fiasco. Domino's Pizza had kids tape spinning in a pizza. The CEO counted it by making a video on YouTube. Not only curtailed the problem, they had same-store sales up for the first time in 48 months. Because of relevance.
Gary, thanks man. Appreciate it. Really quick.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
I know that your number is 172.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, 172. I see like or anything like that.
Yeah.
And like I'm looking at. I had a legal background before this. Okay. And I'm wondering, like, at what point do you think that Facebook becomes a right or a privilege? And where do you draw that line? There are people that aren't allowed to use Facebook.
Why?
Felonies, things like that. So at what? Right? Oh, absolutely. It's like in plain writing. So at what point?
I don't know. That's over my head because it's the legal jargon and I know the marketing jargon. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand.
I'm shocked that you couldn't have a Facebook account if you had a felony. I did not know that, and that surprised me quite a bit. And you're firm on that. It's not like you.
Not all felonies.
Got it. So what, sexual?
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense to me.
Right.
Sexual predators are in a whole little class of their own.
Well, I'm just saying, like, do you think that it'll ever?
They've got much bigger issues than Facebook. Eventually Facebook's going to be their biggest issue, but the fact that the fact that everybody gets contacted when they're, that's a whole bigger issue than Facebook. That trickles down to the actual law itself. That sex offenders get branded and everybody in the general area needs to know who they are. I mean, how quickly is that going to impact the fact that their profile has to say it? And then that's a scarlet letter. So that gets into a whole big thing that's like just not in my comfort zone of knowing where that will go.
Right.
But that's a very fascinating debate where it goes there, because it's going to go there. Eventually, as this stuff gets really important, somebody in Congress is going to say, wait a minute, sexual predators, if you have a Facebook account, you're getting the logo. And then that gets into like... because when you move into a neighborhood, everybody gets a letter, some people know about it, there's whispers, there's that. When it's your identity to the whole world, that gets really intense.
Right.
I mean, you should write about that because you have a better feel of the legal ramifications than I do. And it's an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll see you later.
Good to see you, man. Stay well. Hey.
Hi, I'm Ricardo Sanchez.
Hello.
I have a blog, a local blog. It's Austin Tech Gigs.
Maureen, great to see you. Well, I'll see you again.
I don't know when the next event is. That's too close. At the Texas Coast.
There's a Tribune party downtown tonight. I don't know. I was going to head down to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have another
if it's still
thing
going on.
I was going to go to, but it ends at 9.
Just my email.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll see. But it's good seeing you. So it's fun to talk. I'm just going to say goodbye to him. There's a long line. Alright, bye.
So I watched your video like last year and watch every day. And then what's your recommendation? If it's not business, okay. What about the international relationship? Okay, use this.
Because what I want to do is, well, first of all, there's a lot of things. For example, I want to go to China right now with an app that lets me do this. Where is the closest airport? And then hit a button and let it translate in Chinese. I mean, there's some really mobile. We didn't get to talk about it tonight. I wish I did. Mobile to me is the game. It's where companies should be spending. I mean, we talked a lot about traditional social, but I think mobile. If I were you, especially when you get into language stuff, mobile. And I'll tell you what would be real. There's a startup that I heard about that takes news, like teaching people how to read. It takes news, not like boring stuff like cat, and then it tells you what cat is, but it literally takes
Spanish,
you saw it. Yeah. So and what it is, just for everybody's listening, it's like it would take the biggest story of the day, like the Tea Party has a big upset, and it literally you read it and it tells you, it translates it into your language, so you learn that way. So it's current event driven, not just like dog meets, what have you. So I would really think about making it relevant. I'd much rather learn about Chinese by reading a Jets article and then listening to it translated. It's how I would, I think there's I'm very bullish on current events and pop culture and relevancy, so I would focus on that and mobile, and then I think you're bleeding into some opportunity.
Thank you.
No problem, man. Stay well.
Can I ask you the best way to reach your market? I teach women about investing in my relates.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so, but I feel like some of my friends in the place.
So what I would do, let's say I invest in a company. The first thing I would do is find out who the 500 most influential moms are. So I go to Cafe Mom, and I go to blog her.
Do you think they're young or no? Because these are women that their kids are either maybe in college.
I would first look, right?
Okay.
I first look.
Okay.
It's a lot of homework, right? I mean, you got to find your target. But the fact of the matter is this. Here's what gets so bullish on Facebook ads. You can run a Facebook ad right now. When you're setting up the ad, you literally can go 45 to 60-year-old females who are interested in retirement because maybe they're thinking that way. I don't know. You would know better. I mean, I feel like if you put investing, your number would be small. So you got to kind of profile them more than using specific words. But that's how Facebook works. It would literally be searching what they're interested in, things they've liked. And then all of a sudden, let's just say that number becomes 36 7,000 people. You can then run that ad. They click the ad, it goes to a page where you then make a video and you're talking directly to them. Not this is that one-on-one stuff. So instead of having information, I would have you in a video saying, hey guys, thanks for clicking my Facebook ad. You see what I mean? And make the context proper. I mean, if you know your demo that cold, I don't think there's a better thing in the world than Facebook ads. I really don't. What you have to do is perfect Facebook ads. Meaning, you've got to try different ads, feel which one, because